Hello and welcome to today's event. I'm Action Industry Marketing Specialist Jason Nackstead, and today's event introducing Infor CloudSuite distribution for building material distributors. Before we get things going, down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see some icons. From there, you can ask a question, view any of our attached resources, or request a demo for yourself. At the end of today's event, we'll have time for questions. And if you think you may have missed something or didn't quite know how to ask a question, you can view this presentation later on, as we'll have that recorded for your viewing availability. Today's presenter is Mr. Rob Dallas. Rob has been helping distributors find their ideal software solutions for 25 plus years. For those 25 years experience, Rob has been working specifically with the Infor distribution product line for more than a decade. He not only understands the software, but also the needs of distributors, which allows him to better assist his customers. And with that lovely introduction, Rob, you can go ahead and take it away, sir.
Thanks, Jason, and welcome everyone. Go ahead and here. As far as the agenda goes, I have a few slides at the beginning just to discuss some industry characteristics, the Infor solution. Then I am going to try to have about 15 minutes in a brief demo where I'm going to run through a couple different sales scenarios, real life sales scenarios with you. Then I'll come back in a couple closing slides about Action, who again, Jason and I work for, an Infor partner. And then, as he mentioned, there is time at the end, at the conclusion, for Q&A. So please ask any questions that you may have in the Q&A box. So Infor, if you weren't aware, is the author or manufacturer of the software. They are now currently the third largest ERP company in the world, solely owned by the Koch brothers. And you see their nice, strong vertical position and expertise there on the left. And notice the BMAT distributors, 9 of the top 10. And I think what's important to note is that Infor is really striving to be leaders in technology and innovation. So not only industry-specific, deep distribution functionality, but how can we leverage new technology that we're all using in our personal lives, right? Allowing us to work the way we live, making us as efficient as possible in the workforce. So what are some of the innovation drivers that we're having, key factors driving innovation? Economic growth, of course, right? That drives overall industry expansion. Population growth increases demand for residential and commercial buildings. Demand for rebuild and repair materials. Obviously, aging infrastructure and natural disasters, right, are occurring all the time. Changes to building codes and regulations. So that requires compliance and adaptation in construction practices. An increased demand for green and sustainable building materials. So that reflects a shift towards eco-friendly and energy-efficient solutions. So why Infor CloudSuite distribution, also called CSD? Inventory optimization. So advanced inventory management tools help improve customer service levels and free up capital, right? Helping you manage just the right amount of inventory that you need to keep in your warehouses. Pricing and margin optimization. Pricing recommendations to enable margin optimization to improve decision-making and automate manual tasks. Operations efficiencies. I mentioned this already. Right? Optimizes supply chain processes, controls cost, helps achieve operational excellence, right? Making your business as efficient as possible. And here's one people don't think about, but there has been a generational shift where people are leaving the workforce, and there's obviously a large generation coming in. Employee onboarding. So superior user interface, role-based analytics, and learning tools to optimize employee adoption and performance. And again, this new generation that are coming into the workforce are used to using these tools, right? This level of technology. So how can you leverage that in the software you use to run your business? Infor CSD offers advanced features, including it's very scalable. We have customers that are, as small as 10 users, one warehouse, but as large as, one example, 50 locations, hundreds of users processing thousands of orders a day. And it's built to handle that scale. Data-driven decisions, powerful analytics and reporting tools, right? Help you turn that data into useful information. Customer-centric, so keep customer pricing commitments. How can you update and manage pricing? It's one of the largest battles that distributors have on a weekly basis. Cloud Advantage, being able to access it securely and from anywhere on any device. Integration capabilities, so seamless integrations with other applications. Right? We're not passing flat files like we used to do in old legacy systems. We have real-time APIs and bots, so we can communicate in real time with those other systems. So transforming your business, provide a consistent customer experience. So build a positive customer experience online with robust e-commerce, order entry, and mobile capabilities. Optimize supply chain processes, again, controlling the costs, and achieve operational excellence through the robust management, warehouse management, inventory management, order fulfillment. Gain business insight with the BI tools that I had mentioned, and drive employee productivity. So what is a true competitive advantage for distributors with Infor CloudSuite distribution? Well, it's industry specific for building materials, right? So a faster path to value. Industry leading practices. So we can adopt industry specific processes to reduce time and cost and risk, right? Which produces quicker and easier deployments. Evergreen cloud platform, again, always on, right? Enables business agility. And then architecture for innovation, continued business innovation. What's included with your subscription to CloudSuite distribution? All of the functionality you'd expect here in the core capabilities, your sales processing, pricing, your inventory management, procurement, forecasting, real-time accounting, all is included with the core system. But there are many optional capabilities that you may not need today, but you may need as your business evolves or grows. And it's as simple as licensing and implementing these additional modules. That could be a true WMS system. We have a couple different options there to, again, go paperless in the warehouse, to have every movement of inventory scanned and validated to get that 99% inventory accuracy. And of course, we have a tier 1 WMS solution. So if we need voice picking, automation, conveyor belts, robotics, task interleaving, we have that as an optional WMS as well. Service and repair, a lot of distributors are having to do more service, right, to keep their customers, how to separate themselves, distinguish themselves from their competition. CRM, to manage your opportunities in your pipeline, and many others as well. Again, it just allows you to price your subscription a la carte and to evolve as your business evolves. And all of it sits in what's called the Infor OS, Infor Operating Services. And this is the layer of technology, and this is all included as well. So you get the AI that Infor is continuously making more and more robust and bringing more capabilities into the ERP. Workflows and alerts, where you can have a business event that should have occurred, or even one that should have occurred that didn't occur, trigger a workflow. And that could be an alert to one or multiple people, or it could be tasks that they need to approve, and they could be multi-tiered tasks as well. Document management, full-blown document management system. You're going to see an example how we use that today, where we can attach any digital document to an entity, to a customer, to a vendor, to an order, to a purchase order, right, to a product, and then have access right there at your fingertips. And all of it sits on Amazon Web Services, right? So you get the security and the reliability of AWS. Okay, with that, let me go ahead and share my screen. And toggle over to my browser. As you can see, again, I'm on a MacBook Pro. As I mentioned in the introduction, it is device independent, desktop, laptop, tablet. I even could do pricing and inventory inquiries on a smartphone. Right? It's responsive design to change dynamically based on the real estate that you have on your device, what the screen size is. So what I'm going to do is a few different scenarios. Well, one scenario, 3 different parts of a sales scenario where a customer wants to check availability and pricing, where they want to check the status of an order or a quote. And then finally, luckily for us, they want to place a new order. So we're going to walk through all 3 of these. As you'd expect, I do have a main menu where I could go in if I wanted to get into a sales inquiry and go find it this way. But I also have the ability to enter in an access code, or for new users to the system, I could just type in what I'm trying to do. So I could have entered in OEIP taking me right to this function, or entering in pricing takes me to a list of any functions that contain those characters. You can also have personalized bookmarks too. So again, so you can save the functions that you frequently visit and have them be one click away. And it's all about speed, right? How can we increase users' efficiencies? So again, looking up pricing availability, I don't have to start a quote or an order. I'm going to use this customer pricing inquiry. Now, one thing you'll notice when you click on any field, it remembers your recent activities. So I'm sure if you walk around your offices today, you'll notice a lot of those yellow scratch pads or sticky notes where people are scribbling. What's that part number? What was that customer number? What's that order number? Well, now any field you click on, it stores MRUs, your most recently used. As far as lookups go, it's very easy. You just provide the system with something you know. Is that part of the customer number? Is it part of the name? The more I give it, it narrows down my search results. It could be the phone number. It could be the address, the zip code, a contact's name, whatever it is that you know related to, in this case, customer, but it's in any field where you're trying to look up something. What do you know about that entity? And the more you give it, it narrows down your search results. We call this a quick look or autocomplete. Same with the product, right? Let's look for a grill. It's still grilling season. I see I have a lot of grills, but I know in this case, I want a built-in. Notice at the top now, it's displaying my built-in grills. Similar to Google, where you see, or any search lookup, where you have the items that contain both words I've entered, excuse me, listed at the top, and then any items that contain either or are listed below those. I like this because you're able to turn on that you want to see availability right here in this quick autocomplete list. Think obviously, if a customer wants a product and needs it right away, I'm not going to select an item where I have 0 available today. Okay? And let's say in your situation, you have 80 different built-in grills. So they're obviously not going to fit in this list. We need to do more of an advanced lookup. So we have this magnifying glass, excuse me. And this pulls up a window where I can see a short description, current availability. There's a 256 character extended description. That's all part of the lookups and searches. So anything that you can put in there related to the items to help your people find products. Could be attributes, dimensions. Right? It could be slang terms that your customers use. So I'm going to go ahead and select a grill. Right? And what we see here is, first thing that jumps out at you is that we do see a nice product image. And that could help, let's say if you're looking at a vanity or a mirror, some other types of building material, that you really need to make sure I have the right item and what it looks like. Well, certain areas of the system do provide pictures, but let's say you're somewhere where there isn't an image or you need the spec sheet associated with this item. Notice over here on the right, this gray, what's called a smart panel. One feature of the smart panel are the widgets. And what these are objects that are intelligent, meaning they're dynamically changing based on what you're working with over here in the main system. So in this case, it knew I was looking at customer 3020. I just have a logo, but it could have been a credit application, tax exempt form. But if I drop down and say, I just want to see documents related to the product, I could see a spec sheet or that image. And if I wanted to, I could email it right from this web part to the customer. So again, you can leave these open. The widgets, the smart panel, typically it's closed, again, to give you additional real estate. Or if you have multiple monitors, if you have one of those environments, you can actually pop that panel out and have it on a secondary monitor. Again, it's just more information right at your fingertips. So let's review what we have here. We see current availability, right? I have 114 available, the list price for this item, and then notice this is this customer's today price. Now that's going through any of our contracts or pricing records. And notice I've changed this field to be highlighted in green. One thing you can do in the system is to personalize. So whether that be changing colors, I can relabel fields, hide fields, move them around, add new fields. It's all about making, again, it as efficient as possible for each and every user. Because personalizations can be at the user level, it could be role-based for a group of users, or it could be system-wide, okay, company-wide. And there's security controls. So not everybody can go in and change what the layout of the screen looks like. You might want continuity by department, for example, like all your accounting users, you want everything to look the same for ease of training. Okay. I could look up additional items here. I could do a worksheet to do some manipulation of the pricing if I'm allowed to do so. I could even create a contract, a pricing record, again, if I have security to do so, right? Because maybe we're going to honor this new price for 30, 60 days. If I'm looking at multiple items, I can hit record price in between each item. And then at the conclusion, I can hit create quote. And a quote is generated with all of the items that I have been working with. So I don't have to then go into quote entry, re-enter those items. Hopefully I remember them, or the customer has to give them to me again, and then produce a quote and email it to them. I can do it right here from the inquiry. So let's say the next part of the scenario is they do want to check the status of an order or quote. So I'm going to, again, I could type in OEIO, which I happen to know is order inquiry. I could use the menu system if I want to jump over here, right? Under sales inquiry, I could go into order. And if I knew the number, I could go ahead and enter it, look at a recently visited. But all of the inquiries have this very powerful advanced search. And one thing you'll notice when we first go in is you only see 7 fields that I can use to find documents. That's because those are the 7 fields that I commonly use. Again, one of Infor's philosophies is let's keep screens simple and clean. We don't want the system to seem cumbersome and complicated, right? So again, there might be 50 fields I can use, but in most cases, this is what I need. But let's say in this scenario, no, I do need to go in and toggle on some additional fields, maybe a date range that it was entered or invoiced, maybe the product, right, the SKU, reference field, maybe transaction types. And again, due to the underlying technology of the browser UI, notice it's just, again, dynamically changing that user experience. You can have save searches. So as a sales rep, maybe I want quick access to my open orders or my open quotes, or maybe by job. I have a large job out there, a building site, and I really want to just see everything pertaining to that job. I can have a save search. I'm going to look for certain characters as part of a customer PO. See here, we have multiple hits. One thing to point out, whenever you see anything that's a hyperlink, so blue and underline, you can click on that value and it takes you into, it's a drill down into that inquiry. So in this case, that was a customer number. I could drill down into this customer inquiry and see some relevant information to that account. I'm going to go ahead and look at this, the third row here, and I see, right, some visual representation of how we're doing with cost and margin information, what stage this order is in as it transitions through the system. And then up here, notice these sub tabs. Again, it's just more information right at your fingertips. So I could go over to line detail. Again, hyperlinks. If I wanted to go look at an item, I could quickly jump in and look at a product. I can click on any column to sort by that column. I can rearrange the columns in any way I desire, because most of these grids have a ton of information. And what's important to you may not be as important to other users. So what's important to you, obviously, you'd want more to the left of the display here so we don't have to scroll. Again, all done through personalization. How do we make this view as efficient as possible for each and every user? You can export the grids to Excel. They come in nicely formatted with filtering already pre-established, or you could even turn on filtering right here within the grid. So maybe looking at this 80-line order, I just quickly want to see descriptions that contain certain characters, that does not contain, is not empty, etc. So if I quickly want to see my tab extensions, I can filter out those lines very easily. And that's on any column in any grid. So maybe I'd want to filter out by product category, my non-stock items maybe on this order, maybe by manufacturer or vendor. Okay. All right, so let's say then in looking at this order, we notice that we never received the customer PO. So they email it to us, and what we want to do, let me open up my doc management web part, which in here I could have used this paperclip and gone out and added a file, but I also have the ability to take the document that they just sent, drag it over and drop it within the web part, and now it's as simple as just filing it away. So what am I attaching it to? Well, I can attach it because based on what I'm working with, a customer, an item, or the order. In this case, we're attaching it to the order. And what is it? And it happens to be a customer PO. Now I can upload it. Now anyone looking at this order and inquiry or editing or maintaining this order would have access to those documents right at their fingertips. All right, now let's say they have thankfully decided that they have another order they need to place with us. So I'm going to, again, go into order entry. And there's one of four things typically that are done in order entry: create a new order, edit, maintain an order, delete, cancel an order, or copy an order. I'm going to create a new order. And again, if I click on customer, right, it remembers who we've been working with at the top. Orientation is left to right. So my banner or header is over here on the left, product selections in the middle, and my shopping cart or footer is over here on the right. There are multiple ways to find products, which we're going to toggle through a few of them. My default, which I set as a preference for my user, is what's called easy entry. And I like it because to me, it resembles what we're used to doing in our personal lives. I see a list of, so I type in LED lights. I see a list of items. I see product images, short descriptions, availability, this customer's today price. It also gives you the ability, because they may want multiple items that you hit within your search results. So now with one singular action, I could add all of those items to my order. And at any point I could hit finish and get out of this order. It really is built for speed. There's no other screens I have to go to. But let's do some additional processing. Let's say that they want to buy something they purchased in the past, maybe for this job or a different job. So I'm going to go ahead and go into shopping. And in this case, I'm going to look for past sales. So for any time period, I can get a simple list. So it's going to list each item once of what they purchased, current availability, current pricing. This quantity recommended is the last quantity they purchased, last purchase date, price. Again, a ton more information, cost, margin information, if you have security to see it. Again, you could pull those columns over here to the left if that's relevant information for your role. I could do a search through this grid. I could put on filtering like we talked about. But what's great about this grid is it's actually an order pad. So using my mouse, or I can use carried return and my arrow keys to go through and toggle on the items that the customer is interested in, set my quantities. And now again, with a singular action, I could add multiple lines to the order. And that's a list based off past sales. There's also a list of promotional products that you're pushing. There's also custom lists that you can do for type of customer, or items that are commonly bought together, or maybe by job, or by a specific customer. One of your larger accounts, they always buy these 20, 30 items. Well, you could just have them here in this list and go through and just set quantities as they need them. Again, just another way to quickly and easily get orders into the system. I'm going to toggle over into advanced entry. Again, it probably resembles what you're used to seeing, where I can do a stock, non-stock, special order line. In this case, I can just start entering in part of a SKU, right? And if I just hit carried return, it adds quantity of one. Maybe I want to add it in a frame. I can find my item if I wanted to, and I could toggle, change quantity, and then hit carried return. And notice this item, when it's being added, it's offering, do we want to view any options, or add any options or accessories? So we can ask the customer if they want to add any rollers, hardware, or belting. Again, it's as simple as selecting, let's say they want 3 of those, and we'll just leave the belting is 10 feet. Now, when you hit submit, all 3 of those items were automatically added to the order. Okay. I mentioned that anytime you could hit finish to get out of the order. We could review the taxes and totals. Right? You can manually manage your tax jurisdictions or CSD interfaces to tax solutions such as Avalara. You may want to collect payment. Maybe it's a deposit, a percentage or dollar amount for this job, right? Especially if you're special ordering product for this project. And that stays with this order, doesn't get applied to other invoices. And when this order is invoiced, it's automatically applied. We can do multiple payment types on an order if they want to pay some by check, some by credit card. Fully integrated credit card system meets all the latest federal PCI requirements, so it's tokenized. So none of the credit card information is stored in your system. Of course, we have credit cards on file, but we just see the last 4 digits, and then that token is processed by a third party. In our situation, I'll just hit finish. And of course, this order is going to go through any rules you've established, obviously credit limit. Maybe this user was allowed to manipulate pricing, and you could put fences around margin tolerances. And if it falls outside of those fences, then of course it would go on hold. Okay, with that, let me toggle back over. Those were just a few things very quickly that I wanted to review with you. We did a scenario of pricing and availability lookup. We checked the status of an order. We looked at the doc management system that, again, was right at your fingertips in that smart panel with a widget where we could add documents related to any entity in the system, and then we placed an order. So why Infor CloudSuite distribution? Infor is very Distribution focused, this is their flagship distribution product going forward, where they're adding, again, additional functionality, but also leveraging any new technology. Because again, they want to stay and be leaders in innovation and technology. A little bit about Action Associates, who Jason and I work for. We are over 220 employees with over 6,500 customers, a national ERP software reseller and IT infrastructure provider focused on the architectural engineering, construction, real estate, distribution, and manufacturing industries. We have 2 company-owned data centers. We're a top 20 VAR in North America, and we were awarded the 2023 Top Workplace Award. Excuse me. And then what makes Action unique? We are Infor's largest distribution partner. We partner with leading technology providers like Infor to transform business operations for our customers. We deliver high-value consultative services addressing business process improvement, including industry best practices and innovative technology solutions. And for our ERP implementations, our proprietary lean implementation process ensures a successful go-live. Okay, I rambled a lot at you in this short amount of time. Jason, I'm going to throw it back to you. I think I saved a few minutes. Are there any questions that came up during the
currently
webinar?
right now, Rob, I think you may have gotten everyone's questions answered. Reminder, if you do think maybe there was something you couldn't quite get out during this time, but you want to make sure you address it, you can always reach out to us. You can reach out to Rob Dallas. I'll give you that contact information in a sec. Or always you can reach out and request a demo for your company. I'm Jason Nackstead. I'm Action Industry Marketing Specialist here at Action. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We know your day is busy, and we appreciate the time you took out to attend this event with us. This slide down in the corner, you can see a little QR code. If you have your mobile device handy, you can go ahead and scan that and get linked right to our building materials landing page. You can see upcoming events that we have scheduled, see resources, white papers, case studies, and customer success stories, and find out more information about the Action and Infor relationship. Thank you, Rob, for once again the lovely hosting abilities you have. Thank you, everyone who came out today. We appreciate the time you have. To reach out to Rob Dallas himself, it's Rob Dallas. His email is rdallas@action.com. And everyone, thank you again. I'm Jason. This was Rob, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everyone.
Take care.